The third S of wine tasting is smell. If you missed my first few videos on the 5 S's of wine tasting, I'll link to those below. And in the meantime, let's talk about smelling your wine. I'm Kristen Scott, founder and chief wine drinker at swirltosip.com. And again, smelling is one of those things that seems kind of silly sometimes, but can give you a lot of great information. And since most of our sense of taste comes from our sense of smell, it's a pretty good skill to practice. So the first thing that I'll have you do is, the first thing I'll do is teach you the proper way to smell your wine, but I'm going to walk you through the ways that most people do it and show you the difference. So, glass of wine. If I were just to ask you to smell your wine, most people would do something like this. Looks pretty normal, right? And certainly I could smell my wine. However, there's a better way. And it involves going back to the second S, which is swirl. So now let's go ahead and swirl the wine. And use that same technique to repeat what you just did with smelling it. Probably a slightly different experience. A little bit more flavor and aroma, or not flavor, we haven't tasted it yet, but a little more aroma. Okay, but now let's get into the real proper way to smell your wine. So give it another swirl and allow me to demonstrate. Yes, my friends, you need to put your nose in your glass of wine. Sniffing at the rim will not give you the full experience of the true aroma of your nectar. So, I strongly recommend, even though you feel silly, trust me, anybody who knows what they're doing will know you're doing it correctly. That you put your whole nose right in there. And you'll notice when I was demonstrating, I closed my eyes. Probably doesn't make a huge difference, but if we want to elevate one sense, sometimes it helps to blunt another sense. So by closing my eyes and my mouth while I smell, my body tends to rely more on that sense of smell for information. Again, small difference, but it's kind of a habit I picked up, so I thought I'd mention it. So the reason we do this is the wine glasses are designed to trap the aromas of swirling all in here in this whole section of the glass. So to really experience the wine and how it's meant to be smelled, this is the best way to do it. So while most people think, yeah, that's great and all, but I don't really care, I'd rather just taste it. Remember again that most of our sense of taste comes from our sense of smell. And you may find it's very interesting sometimes to smell the wine before you taste it and compare. Sometimes the way a wine smells will guide you directly into how it tastes, and sometimes there will seem like a complete mismatch. One of the things that just fascinates me about wine is sometimes you can't tell what it's going to taste like by what it smells like, and that's always kind of a fun surprise. Sometimes I love the smell of a wine so much I almost don't want to even taste it. I'd rather just sit there and smell it all day. Okay, not really, but kinda. At any rate, smelling is an important part of the process, and swirling really activates the aromas. So we've combined the second and third S's here to really get you ready for the fourth S that I know you've been waiting for. We're finally going to get to drink this wine. Cheers.